That's how I felt with when you mentioned like heated rivalry. Like I haven't read it yet,
Okay.
and I started reading the audiobook, and I think because it's and this is something that's like very common with like queer multi POV romance is that like when they're the same gender, like they have to use the author has to use their names more. It has to be like Shane did
Uh,
this and Shane did that and that was I really annoying in audiobook, but I don't think it would be
gotcha.
annoying for me with my eyeballs. So
Read.
now I just need to make eyeball time.
Yeah, that I don't really do audio because it's like I'm judging the audio, not the content.
Yeah, fair enough.
But obviously it works really well for people and that's awesome. But
Yeah.
for me, I always am like, yeah, it's like a very different experience. So I tend to do rereads in audio. If I'm like really like the book,
Interesting.
I'll be
Yeah.
like, or a lot of times if I'm in a book club and it's a book I've already read, I'm like, okay, well, I'll do it in audio this time
Hmm.
because then it's like a little fresh of like a different experience. But I'm like, I
Yeah.
know I like this book, or I already have like my opinion
Yeah.
formed based on the reading experience. But I'm also very like, do what you want. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
oh, that doesn't count as reading or whatever.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
It's
just
funny
like,
that you say that because
whatever
like
works for you.
I'm the total opposite in terms of like rereading versus reading is that like it's usually
Oh,
audiobook first and then like really the only physical books I have are books where I like find myself like checking out the ebook from the library to like reread certain scenes and then I'm like okay
yeah.
I should have a physical like I should like buy a copy for myself.
Okay. And I'm like, I almost have zero
Yeah.
physical copies now. I'm
Yeah.
like a complete e-reader, which is, yeah, interesting. Um, anyways, yeah, all the different habits and ways we
All the
like
different
get our
habits.
books is very fascinating to me because like the physical books are like very big in the romance community. And
Yeah.
obviously like I look at a lot of the romance bookstore data and that obviously is driven by physical
Yeah.
books. And so it's something I don't really connect as much to because I'm not a physical collector. Um, but it's very fascinating, all the trends in that.
Yeah.
It's like people, when I talk to, like, I'm involved in my local romance bookstore, like, attend their book club, and I still love the stores because I like the swag and the other like
Mhm.
merch they sell. And I just love the community aspect of like being with like-minded readers. And so when I talk to people, they're like, oh, I didn't read the physical copy. That's like for the shelf. Like I read it in e-book.
Oh.
So it's like or like, oh, you don't read it because like you'll break the spine or, different things where people are like, oh, this is like my
Yeah.
pristine copy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I'm
everyone's a little
not.
different. You're not fussy about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely I
Read
dog
the
ear that stuff. I'm
physical.
like if I have the physical, it's because I want to read it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna get beat up. Like and also half my physical copies are like, especially for historicals, because they're not in traditional bookstores a lot of the times.
Yeah.
I'll get it at there's like a used bookstore that has like 25% of the stores like romance mass market
Amazing.
paperbacks. Like it's just insane. But so all of them are like, someone got rid of their collection that they got 30 years ago. And so they're all like in
I should
horrible
get you to
condition.
try and look for a certain title for me
Yeah.
at that store. I'm trying to track down a more rare title.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, that's
I found a first edition, first printing, like Lisa Kleypas. I think it's The Prince of Dreams. Is that what it
oh,
is?
okay,
Like a
yeah,
Lisa
that's like a
Kleypas.
more
And I was like, I haven't
rare.
even read this book, but I want I was like, this is a
It's a
first
bit it's a
edition.
departure for Lisa, because it's like there's sort of magical elements in it.
Yeah.
It wasn't my favorite, but it was interesting to see
Yeah.
what she did with that series. There's like Russian like royalty involved in it,
Oh,
and
there's
like
all,
yeah,
yeah, of course. Like the Russian prince. Yeah.
yes, exactly. Yeah, I read that one when I did the Lisa Kleypas voting bracket that I ran earlier this year. So
Right, right.
I was like, which have I not finished yet of like her catalog, which is pretty massive.
Yeah. Yeah, Lisa, yeah, I haven't made my way through all of
There's
hers.
a few still I think I am like saving for a
Yeah.
rainy day.
Yeah. How did you find doing the Lisa Kleypas hero bracket?
So it started basically because I am a big fan of the Fated Mates podcast.
Yeah.
And obviously they're huge, like that's like Derek Craven Day, and they're huge
Yes.
Lisa Kleypas fans. And so a lot of my like education came from that.
Yeah.
And I had another friend actually that had told me to read Dreaming of You when I was like getting into romance. And so I think it was like maybe even made as an offhand comment in one of the episodes of like, oh, like we should like, yeah, do like vote on those or, something
Yeah.
like that. And so it was like a seed in my head. And
And
then
you're
when
like,
I
great
started,
idea.
well, yeah, and then I'm like, I would love, like, I love, like, yeah, nerdy things like that. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's, like, I'll organize it on a spreadsheet and blah, 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 and set this all up. So then when I started the idea of romancing the data, that was like one of my early ideas of like, oh, that could fit in with like the whole data
Yeah.
theme of, yeah, running things that voting competition type thing. So I didn't start with that right away, but when I started building a bit of a following, I'm like, okay, I want to like test run this concept. Um,
Yeah.
and it was like so much fun.
Yeah.
And it's like it is a more niche thing because people have to be very familiar with whichever topic or
Hmm.
series or author that I'm doing it on. But the people who are like so passionate and so into it.
Yeah.
It's like so delightful for
Yeah.
me. And obviously, I'm usually doing something that I'm also into. So,
Yeah.
interacting with people. And actually, I like it was cool because a lot of like fairly well-known authors were like into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like I chatted like with Allie Hazelwood a bit through that process, and some of her friends were like, Allie had DM'd me and were like, Allie like keeps talking about this, like telling people about it because she's like very excited about it. So that was amazing. And she actually introed me to Cressley Cole, who I did my next jacket with. So
Oh,
like
yes.
I'm a big Allie stan because she's just such an amazing, generous
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was like very cool to get a bit of like notice from some of the authors that I love and
Yeah.
respect so much. So yeah, that was cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love that experience.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun for me, like, to participate in, although I knew St. Vincent was gonna win,
Yes.
but I was still like, Reese Winterborn, Reese, not 5 fucking minutes, Winterborn has my heart. And like, I know you did like the losers bracket.
Yes. Well, even the top, like the like number two, three, and four were actually a bit of a surprise, I think. I know number one was like, the shoe-in, but it was kind of cool because I think everyone was like, oh, Derek Craven's gonna be like number two, but I think it ended up being Reese was number two.
Yeah,
And then
listen.
Cam and Derek were like in three and four. And I Cam was
Yeah.
a bit of a surprise too.
Cam's a dark horse, literally.
Yeah,
I think that's his whole
exactly.
character. is being-
Totally. But he's like the uber like competence porn, I
Yeah,
think.
competence king.
That's
Yeah.
like very attractive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun to see some of those like other favorites come out and people see them in the limelight a little bit. Although there were
Yeah.
still others that people were like riding hard, like West Ravenel and
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't remember. There was a couple others that people made very good arguments for, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. But you still have your favorites that you just like hit for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally don't think Simon Hunt gets enough love, but that's
I just listened to your mustache episode,
oh,
and yeah, I like Simon also.
yeah.
It's like you were talking about the train daddies, and it's like yes, the industrialists who are
He's
like
the train
they're the
daddy. Yeah.
businessmen
Yeah.
that to be like yes, twirling a mustache or something.
Yeah. It's like I imagine them all like I don't know if you watch The Gilded Age,
Yeah, I haven't watched the recent season, but I've watched the
but like
earlier.
Mr. Russell from The Gilded,
Yes.
like the maid.
Oh,
And like the only reason I did not mention him in the mustache episode is because he's got the full beard. And I was like,
that's
it's
true.
technically not a mustache. It's like
I'm
part of
like,
if it's attached, it's not a mustache.
I gotta stay true to the topic.
I was like, Train Daddy absolutely has some phenomenal facial hair.
Yes, yeah, I just saw like a cool photo shoot with him and Carrie, well, I can't remember her last name, who's the
Carrie
other,
Coon?
yeah, Carrie Coon,
Yeah.
and it was like they're dressed very sexy and in like I don't know, this fancy, it looked like a fancy bathroom or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, he's in the foreground and she's in the background. Anyways, it was a delight.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. All right, before we get too carried away, let me introduce the podcast. So, all right, so hello, listener, and happy New Year's Eve, because that's when this episode is coming out. It's the last day of
Oh,
the year, and therefore we are obviously going to celebrate the
I
best
should have worn a
romance
party
book.
hat.
Nah, so I was like, do I wear something sparkly? I don't know. But obviously that means we're going to celebrate the best romance books in our personal opinion, also backed up by some data of 2025 here at We Read It One Night. I'm your host, Allison Finch, and today I am so excited to be joined by someone I've mentioned a lot. I feel like I keep plugging you to authors, like, where I'm like, have you heard of this account? Lady Jane from Romancing the Data.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I appreciate the referrals very much.
Yeah. So why did you start Romancing the Data? Because I feel like you like knew, besides like I'm assuming like a love of data is like just like part of that. But like what made you start it? I know like when you started it, like I remember you DM'd us. Like I'm sure you like DM'd like a bunch of like authors and podcasts and stuff being like, "Hey, I'm starting this account." Like you like had a vision and a plan like
Oh,
from the
I'm glad it
start.
seemed that way. I guess I did have an overarching one, but I guess the different things I focused on have like evolved and changed quite a
Yeah.
bit. So basically I'm not like a super long time romance reader. I kind of
Hmm.
started in like 2018,
Hmm.
2019 to start reading more. I think even just reading in general, I wasn't doing a ton of like reading for pleasure. I
Yeah.
think it just was like university, getting into like the corporate world. I just was like, I'm reading so many documents and stuff all the time. I
Yeah.
just, yeah, wasn't making a lot of space for that. And so when I started, I was like dabbling, and then I just was like, I love this. I don't want to care about like what I should be reading. Like, I think I felt that pressure of like, that sort of snobbish, like, oh, I need to be reading
Yeah.
lit fic and like the latest things that academics are talking
Yeah.
about or what have you. And I read a book that was very good, but it was like very disturbing, had a very
Oh yeah.
disturbing ending, and I was just like, I don't want this in my brain,
Yeah.
basically. And so the HEA is like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want to know it's going to end okay, and I'm not going to like be super sad at the end of this.
Yeah.
And so that really pushed me to be like, I'm just going to read what I want and not be thinking about that. And then the pandemic, like so many people, just like amped up what I was already leaning into
Yeah.
and just had so much more time to read. So I really dove into it. So in terms of I wasn't really doing much online, like in terms of engaging in the romance community
Yeah.
at that point, but I was starting to like look for book clubs and things like that. And so I lost my job last year. I got laid off. And
Oh, I'm
so
so sorry.
I'd been there for a long time. So it was like a big shift for me. So I was
Yeah.
like taking a bit of time off. And yeah, basically I was in a romance book club. I like was like, oh, I'm gonna make a spreadsheet of all the books they've read before, like before I joined. And like, what else could I sort it by? La la la. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
just love making spreadsheets. I had this thought of like, I should do something with this. Like, I really get joy out of this. And so I was thinking, like, yeah, what could that look like? And so there is an account that I was inspired by called Bachelor Data. And it's a woman who
Yes.
watches the Bachelor franchise
Yes.
and like compiles all this like random, interesting data
Yeah,
about the
I am
show.
familiar with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
fan
so
of
I
them.
just always thought that was such a fun, like, I briefly watched The Bachelor when there was like a real dearth of content during the pandemic, and it was short-lived. Um, but that's how I came to know about her. And so she tracks like just random stuff like, oh, if you get the rose in this episode, like what's your chances of this happening?
Yeah.
Or like how much airtime does each character get and all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, I think I could do something like that for romance books. And so that's essentially where it started from. And so then I had a few ideas of like the voting bracket, doing some like compilation lists and things like
Hmm.
that. But then other things kind of grew from just me looking what's out there, what data can I use, what can I gather, and that's how like the bookstores started, and now that's become like one of the focal points of my data because
Yeah.
that's not really being collected anywhere as comprehensively as I'm trying to do. And so that's sort of now a new data source that I've kind of been able to really lean into. So that's been cool. And like I think with you, like I started tracking podcasts was one of my directories as
Yeah.
well. So that's I was reaching out to a lot of the romance book podcasts. So yeah, it's been so I'm glad it looks like I had a very comprehensive plan. I had a vision. I think, romance and
Yeah.
data, that's like what my niche is. But in terms of the actual like projects and things I'm executing, that has shifted over the last year a lot.
But yeah, I mean, it's still you do like breakdowns of like bestseller lists and
Yes,
everything. And as I used to work in publishing and when I was like very low on like just starting, when they give you all the like menial tasks.
the grunt work,
And one of my weekly tasks was like going, I mean, I worked in nonfiction, so it was much less exciting than journalists. But was like going down all the lists and like writing down the sales numbers and being like, this is like our book and like this is their, but like all that
yeah,
stuff.
comping them to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of that doesn't exist for
Yeah.
public consumers. Like
Right.
that's
Yeah.
the main thing that I found is I'm like there isn't really sales data. Like a lot of it's just like within the publishing
Hmm.
community or like costs a lot of money
Yeah.
to access. So that's where I'm like trying to be creative and like, well, what can I look at as a sort of I'm starting to become more of an insider, but like I don't
Yeah.
technically work in publishing. So what can I look at and what can I like gather? Yeah. So like my Amazon analysis is something that I've created with another creator.
Yeah.
A guy called Nat who runs, it's called Kindle Trends, his website. So he
Hmm.
gathers and scrapes data from Amazon and happens to have a partial focus on romance. So I use his data and then I've created like my own
Hmm.
analysis and ranking with that. So it's kind of cool to create something that's actually new and
Yeah.
hopefully it seems like people have been finding some value in it. And I like, yeah, I get really excited about,
Yeah.
hey, a new spreadsheet and like, oh, what's this going to say and what's this going to show? And
Yeah.
it's newer. Like I've only been doing since July. So when I have a more like time of data, it'll be even more interesting to look
Hmm.
back at trends. Like right now, I'm kind of speculating because it's like hard to say, is this just like a blip? Is this like a cyclical
Right.
thing that's like seasonal? But it's yeah, cool to start building that
Yeah.
baseline that I can hopefully compare to in the coming
Yeah.
years.
Well, that was one thing I was going to ask is like what are some things like you've noticed in the romance genre this year, like just from a market perspective?
I know everyone, I keep hearing like, what's the next thing? And I don't have a great answer. There's nothing like obvious that's showing in the data.
Yeah.
And obviously I only have a certain track that I've been analyzing so far. But the in terms of like subgenres, I've seen like suspense grow. It
Mm.
within content, like I look at contemporary as like a big category with all the
Yeah.
subgenres within it. And so it's been like the biggest in the last 2 months within contemporary. And so that's been a bit of a
Okay.
shift. And then the other is paranormal, has also seen of
Yeah.
starting to increase a bit. So but like the other things are still very steady. Like mafia is
Hmm.
still very steady. Like billionaires still around. Like it's still fairly prominent within those top bestsellers.
Hmm.
Um, and again, romanticy has continued. Like I know some of us feel like, is it hitting a like saturation point or like
Yeah.
is it going to shift at some point? But I'm not seeing a decline at this point in
Yeah.
data. So that's maybe more of just like a feeling.
Yeah. A hopefulness. I don't know. Am I gonna get in trouble? Listener, if you like romantasy, I'm not dunking on you.
It's
It's
also
just
my blind spot. I've read a
yeah.
few and I did compile like a list of the top. I think I had like 70 on the list and I'm like, I'm gonna read a lot of these, but I haven't made that much progress yet.
Yeah.
Um, my other hopeful is historical, which I know you're also a historical fan.
Yeah.
There's like rarely any in the bestseller list
Oh
that
yeah.
I when I'm looking at the top 100. And if they are, they're usually more like women's fic that get categorized as
Hmm.
romance. But I feel like it's going to be like not imminent that it's coming back. I don't think it's gone, but I think it's going to be shifting probably more to indie or self-publish.
Hmm.
And I think though that will
Yeah.
take a bit of time to kind of take hold, or if authors decide to shift to that route, like it's
Yeah.
maybe not an immediate thing that they're going to turn on a dime and do that, but I'm hopeful that it's coming back. But I don't know if it'll be like next year, or
Yeah.
maybe 2027.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, certainly not next year in trad pub because that takes like at least 3 years, like what they're
Exactly.
acquiring now, we're not seeing for a
Exactly. It's just like
while.
how quick can it shift over to
Yeah.
indie, and or are those authors going to try to shift genre to kind of
Hmm.
cater to the market if they want to stay trad?
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see. I've also been like, I wonder if like historical would shift to more like paranormal gothic fantasy elements to try
Yeah.
to like bridge the gap a bit. But I've seen like some of that. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
I mean, like, I feel like vampires, like,
Yeah,
lend them, vampires are coming back.
totally.
Vampires, like, why, if you're writing a vampire romance and they're not wearing like poofy sleeves at least once, like, what's the point? You know?
Exactly. It's kind of just, yeah, historical in general. Because one, yeah, actually, one on my list is it wasn't on really in showing up in the bestsellers, but I think it did pretty well, was The Bone King and the Starling by Elizabeth Stevens.
Mm,
And it's historical like Viking, but it does sort of
yeah.
have like a fantasy vibe to it. So
Yeah.
it's sort of a mix of like subgenre. It's kind of hard to
Yeah.
pinpoint, I would say. So I see that as a bit like hitting some of those
Yeah.
historical wants from readers, but
Yeah.
yeah, a bit of a blend there of subgenres.
All right, so now that you mentioned one of them on your list, why don't we jump into our best romance books of 2025, and hopefully, listener, you haven't read some of these and you'll
Yeah,
get.
well, do you mind if I do a bit of the bestseller?
Yeah. No, go
Like,
for it. Yeah.
I did because I tracked New York Times and Amazon Kindle store, and I haven't done like my final crunch of because obviously we're still in
Yeah.
early. Sorry, just break the time secret, but it's not December 31st today. Um, but so I will be, if you want to like know more about the final analysis, like follow my accounts or whatever, and I'll be
Yeah.
posting about that in January. But so yeah, in terms of the New York Times, I looked at like the top. It was like 12 that
Hmm.
had the most weeks on the list this year, and so it was a mix of romantasy and contemporary.
Hmm.
And of course, we had like Rebecca Yarros was three of the
Yeah.
spots of her series with it was sorry, my spreadsheet is lit up.
Oh,
Onyx Storm was the top
yeah.
30 weeks on the list. Fourth Wing,
Wow.
26
Yeah.
weeks this year, but a total of 101 weeks on the list.
Wow, I didn't know it. It feels still feels really new. So like
I
being
know.
2 years on the list.
Exactly. And then Iron Flame was the fourth. It had 22 weeks on the list. And so that obviously dominated a lot for Romantasy. And then ACOTAR was still on the list, but
Yeah.
it stopped as of August. So
Oh.
it's yeah, like I had been seeing a lot of Sarah J. Maas books like coming up again and again. But that seems to have slowed down now. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. It was on 12 weeks this year and then 50 in total. And then the other romantasy were Alchemized by Senlin Yu
Hmm.
and Quicksilver were
Yeah.
the other two. And those both were on for 10 weeks this
Yeah.
year. And then contemporary, we kind of have some of the ones we're familiar with. So one of the third on most weeks was Lights Out by Nevessa Allen.
Oh, I
So
didn't
it was
realize
on for
that.
24 weeks. Yeah, it kind of had a bit
Yeah.
of a delay appearance from when it
Yeah.
actually came out and then started appearing on the list. And then we have Carly Fortune, One Golden
Mm,
Summer. She was on for 15 weeks. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry,
mm,
12 weeks. And then the two Ellie Hazelwood, Problematic Summer Romance and Deep End,
yeah.
which were 8 and 6 weeks,
Yeah.
respectively. So
Yeah.
not like too surprising. And again, the one of the big issues for me with the New York Times list, well, there's lots, but
Yeah.
because it's not quite clear how it gets made
Yeah.
and what exactly is required to make the
Yeah.
list. But it also doesn't represent self-published or indie published.
Right.
You basically like have to have an alliance, like either be some sort of traditional publisher, either Big Five or one of the other
Hmm.
traditionals,
Yeah.
like Amazon, for example. So that's where now having the Amazon Kindle store data is like much more representative of
Yeah.
bigger market. So there were, in terms of that list, I only went back to July of what I've been tracking so
Yeah.
far. But there's only two books that overlap with New York Times in terms of the
Wow.
very top is Quicksilver and Onyx Storm. So those
Wow.
were both top of the list for the Amazon Kindle store. And again, it was pretty much a mix of romantasy and contemporary, but in this case, to dark contemporary,
Okay.
which is very in terms of like the ones I pulled out were they'd appeared on five of the five lists or the 5 of the 5 months that I've done analysis
Hmm.
for. So they were there every month in the top 100. So in terms of the dark romance, contemporary, there's Insatiable by Lee Rivers,
Okay.
Haunting Adeline by H.D.
Oh,
Carlton.
yep.
What was the other? And then God of Malice by Rena Kent and The Ritual by Chantal Tessier. And
Huh.
so I see, and I'm at a disadvantage here because romantasy and dark romance are not really
Not
my
your thing. I know Haunting Adelaide because that's been, I've never read it, but
Adeline, I think it is.
Adeline, sorry, yes.
Sorry. Yeah, I
Sorry,
was
my
also double
cat's name is
checking because I'm
Adelaide,
like,
so
oh,
my cat's name is Adelaide, so
it's
I always
easily to get
default to
confused.
that.
And she's very
Yeah.
dark too. She haunts you.
I wake up and she's like right there in my
Like
face
she's
being
very
like, guess
haunting.
it's dinner time. Um, yeah, I've heard of Haunting Adeline from like TikTok. I've never read
Yes.
it. And I feel like one of the other ones that you mentioned that I'm completely blank is like I heard of
God of
it, but
Malice.
yeah, God of Malice. I've
And I've heard of
heard of
Rena
that
Kent
one.
a lot too. But
Yeah.
again, I don't, the dark romance I read this year was Lights Out, because it's like been so popular. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
I
read that
need to
too.
like test, I need to, for research, I need to like see if this is for me or like what I feel about it.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy it. But I also have been told like it's pretty light in terms of the darkness.
Yeah, I'd say
So
so.
I was like, I enjoyed this, but like I don't know if this is my jam. But
Yeah.
I am drawn to like things that are like last on the list for so long to kind of be like, what is this about? Like,
Yeah.
what is drawing people to this? I find that fascinating. It's just a matter of like trying to fit every book in that I would like to
Yeah.
read.
Yeah.
And then in terms of romantasy, it was Shield of Sparrows was
Hey, I know.
big on the list.
Heard
And
of that
then
one.
The Wolf King and the Night Prince by Lauren
Yes.
Palfreeman, I think is how you say it. So those, and then and Guild by Raven Kennedy.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, the Wolf King, I think I have on my, I was like, that sounds familiar. I have it like on my holds for on my library.
So it's like very interesting that like they're so popular in the Amazon store, but they're not ones that I like being kind of
Yeah.
online a lot in the social media romance communities. I don't necessarily hear about them as much. And maybe
Yeah.
that's just because I'm like, it's not my subgenre, but I do find that interesting how it's showing like something that's very different than my kind of personal experience.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the Wolf King, like I think I only heard about it because I saw someone like make a video about
Yeah.
like just on my like For You page, like not someone I followed at all. So like that's the only reason
Yeah,
I know about
exactly.
that. I guess I also like I don't read much indie simply because like I said, like I read mostly audiobooks and unfortunately like indie
Yeah, it's hard.
doesn't
They're
tend to
very
have
expensive to produce.
audiobooks.
Yeah.
Right. And like totally understandable. Like I don't fault indie authors at
Of
all.
course. But yeah, if that's
But
your
then
preference.
also because I get my books from the library, and so even if, I do want to read like the ebook version, a lot of the times, like I think Amazon did just change this where like they adjusted their
Oh,
exclusivity for Kindle
yes,
Unlimited, so like you can send it to libraries, but that's very recent, and I feel like a lot of authors haven't really
definitely.
like made the update yet.
Yeah, and I think also
So
like readers need to request too from those
yeah,
libraries to like
yeah,
encourage them to add to the cat to their collection.
yeah,
But yeah, that's I found that too. Like that's kind of why I need to use Kindle Unlimited because so
yeah,
many things I want to read are exclusively there. But
yeah,
hopefully, yeah, that will change a bit. Maybe being more available in libraries would be.
yeah, yeah. I'm hoping.
So yeah, so anyways, it's definitely opened my mind more to like I like seeing a bit more uh different titles that are being
Mhm.
focused from different sources, but they're all like none of them are perfect. Like I haven't done it much
Right.
with the USA Today list, but I've
Yeah.
heard lots of people say like that one used to be a lot more clear of transparent about the how
Yeah.
it's being calculated, and now people are like don't know what's going on, and like it
Yeah.
just seems very um, yeah, not very clear to people what's going on behind the listings and what is
Hmm.
kind of required to make it. So yeah, that's I'm always like take this all with a grain of salt. Like it's they're just a
None of us. Yeah.
certain view or filter of it. But I think like you mentioned about the in reading more trad and the indie space, and I think that's common for readers because the indie space is so big. Like
Hmm.
there's so much being published on Amazon and I'm sure
Hmm.
other platforms as well that it's just like it's very hard to like keep on the pulse of like what's
Yeah.
new and what should I be reading
Yeah.
and so it like trad is like a little more organized in like
Yeah.
some ways. So it's like you can kind of get your head around it a bit more.
Hmm.
Whereas it feels like, yeah, you do have to make a lot more effort to try and dig through like
Yeah.
all the indie authors and all the new series and titles coming out. So
Hmm.
haven't cracked how to like help
Do
solve that,
that.
but
Yeah.
it's something on my mind of like, yeah, like looking, like I'm hoping like this kind of data and lists
Yeah.
help people like, okay, I can see like, yeah, what's popular. That doesn't have to guide what you're going to read, but it gives some like indicator of like, well, this is hope probably a pretty good story
Right.
if lots of people are reading it,
Right.
to at least have some guidance
Yeah.
of understanding like what's selling and what's working for people.
Yeah. And I mean, I know you've, highlighted this with with a lot of your data posts, and also just like listening to you list all the books that have been bestsellers, like it's mostly white, mostly straight, like so
Yes,
like unfortunately, and that's kind of like a
exactly.
self-perpetuating,
So that's where we
because
get into my third source,
yeah.
which is I do a best of the best list every year, or well,
Hmm.
I should say I've only done this will be the third year I've done it.
Listen, 3 years.
That's still something. I did the like I did 2023 late belated because I was just wanted to kind of test my methodology because I
Hmm.
only started doing this stuff in 2024. But so basically, and again, this is also very biased, but it's basically looking at like curated lists that
Right.
media outlets or content creators people put out of like their best of the year, and then basically I jam those all together into like
Yeah.
one giant spreadsheet and do an analysis of them all to see what appeared on the most lists, where
Hmm.
were the most commonalities.
Hmm.
And that's where we do start to see more diversity. Obviously, it's not perfect, but
Hmm.
it's at least a bit more of an indicator of if seeing like what's kind of popular among a few different categories. So we start to see more BIPOC authors, more historical
Yeah.
books, and LGBTQ. Actually, this year I haven't seen as many of those, but
Yeah.
usually it's like there's more likelihood of that
Hmm.
on these lists. So I'm not. I usually wait till the end of the year till I most of the lists have been published, but so far I have 21 lists that I've
Okay.
found and started looking at. So this is where things start to align more with my personal tastes
Yeah.
of some of my favorites of the year. Not all of them have appeared, but so some of the early contenders of those
Okay.
analysis are Well, two at the top are BIPOC authors. So one is Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan
Yes, that's on
and
my
August
list too.
Lane by Regina Black. And I have
Yeah.
read both of those and I loved both of them.
Hmm.
They're very good. They're very emotional,
Yeah.
like character growth, just very, very well written books, but they're like emotional kind of gut
Yeah.
punches.
Oh yeah, I mean the whole what is it Skyland
Skyland,
series?
yeah,
Yeah, by Kennedy
they're
Wright. Like
all
every single one of those books just punches you in the face and then like wipes your tears and it's like it's gonna be
exactly.
okay in
I mean,
five
it
to
is
seven business
okay.
days.
Exactly. So they're like, I'm always like, I love them, but it's also like, yeah,
Yeah.
go know that this isn't a light, fluffy romp
Yeah.
necessarily, but really well done. And I met Regina. She was very lovely and yeah, very well deserved. She's been getting, yeah, she's appeared on 7 lists so far. Kennedy's book has appeared on 10 so far by my calculations.
Well, 11 now because she's on
Yes.
my I can't get enough. It's on my list.
I'm not sure. Well, if we make this official, maybe I can add it as
Yeah, I don't
a
I'll make
source.
there'll be a post about it
Okay, that's
so
usually my requirement is that it's like documented somewhere.
yeah, it'll be on the Instagram when I like post about this episode. So yeah, can't get enough listener by Kennedy Ryan.
You're
It's your
like, I'm gonna say it
first.
again for the record. I'd like to say
For the please add this to the official record.
whoever's annotate or
Can't
whoever's
get enough.
documenting this,
Yeah.
the court stenographer.
Yeah, and that listener is like it's I feel like it's at least for me it was like insta love done right where like they see each other and they're immediately like damn.
Yes, yes, but then it grew over time,
Yes.
and it
Yes.
had the like those stakes of like this barrier of like this can't happen
Right.
for various
Right.
reasons, right? And so they're like fighting it, which added like, yeah, it was great tension and like very realistic of like, oh, this could impact relationships and career and
Right. Like
yeah,
this could change our both our lives like negatively. Like obviously
yeah. And
together
as
could
in
be
like an
positive,
adult
but
being like, I can't just give into this, like
yeah.
really having to like think through that, then just like
Yeah.
whatever. Let's
Oh,
just do this in
it'll be
secret or
fine.
whatever, which is that's fun too.
Yeah, I mean I like I'm not gonna pretend that I don't like
No,
her.
exactly. But this felt like I think the characters are a little bit older, so it felt very like, yes, like we're trying to like keep this together and kind of, follow our moral or our internal kind of
Yeah.
guidelines we've set. So yeah, that was good. And then there's a number of others that are not too surprising. Again, like One Golden Summer, Problematic Summer Romance, First Time Caller by B.K. Borison,
Hmm.
Great Big Beautiful Life, Emily Henry. But there are a few historicals, and some I've read. Some are they're not like super high in the listings, but one is A Tropical Rebel Gets the Duke by Adriana
Yes.
Herrera, has been on 4 lists that I found so far. So I love that series. The
Yeah.
Los Leones series, and I did get to meet her as well at Steamy Lit. I'm a huge fan of hers. I love what she's doing in the genre,
Hmm.
and hers was one of the first I read that was like completely different of like the representation in a historical,
Hmm.
and was just like, oh, like this is. It felt like a whole new sub genre
Yeah.
of historical of like, oh, it doesn't just have to be in London and white and
Yeah.
so that was like very inspiring for me. And now I'm reading more of those. So one of the other ones is Rare Find by Joanna Lowell.
Yes. Yeah,
And
that's on my list
I
too.
loved A Sure Thing last year. I think that was her debut. Or no, it wasn't her debut, but I love that one so much. And I think I love that one more than A Rare Find, but I did really like A Rare Find as well this year about it's like an aspiring archaeologist and her
Yes.
like childhood enemy getting together. And yeah,
Yeah.
I just love seeing that new take on such an old or
Yeah.
such a established subgenre to like tell different stories, and it just like
Yeah.
adds this like really fresh take on it. And for someone who's like, I think for people who are like so familiar with it, like if you're
Yeah.
open to like switching things up a little bit, it just adds like a really different element where you're like, oh, you start being a little more surprised, or like different beats are being introduced, or
Hmm.
different elements. So I recommend people like exploring sort of like queer historical, because
Yeah.
I find it really fun and interesting way to explore the genre.
Yeah. Yeah, no, a rare find was on is on my list too. And
Okay,
that's it's
good.
yeah, and that was a listener. It's a sapphic one, like you mentioned. We have an archaeologist and like basically a rake.
Yeah, and like I guess like sort of non-binary, or
Yeah, is
like
non-bi
yeah.
uses explicitly like they them
Oh yeah,
pronouns,
yes.
like in
Among
a way that
friends.
makes
Yeah.
sense historically, listener. They're not like I'm not they're not, using
Yeah.
modern terms, but they're like this just feels right to me, you know what I mean?
And there was like a, I think, an author's note about her
Yes.
choice
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
include that, because I think, yeah, it might
Yeah.
be a little jarring to people. Some
Yeah.
people are very like, oh, I need it to be historically accurate, and I'm like less
Yeah. But also like Joanna says in the author's note, like there's no she's like there's no reason.
to not have this. No, exactly. But I think I've just heard like people talk about like, oh, this is anachronistic or whatever. They don't, and it's sort of coded for like, is this just racism? For saying like, oh, this wasn't, you know, real for the time, but who's to say that, right? We don't have everything documented
Right.
to
Oh, I
happen.
had no idea that like BIPOC and queer people weren't invented until
Exactly, right?
1900.
But I have seen those conversations, or like in online spaces where people
Yeah.
like go really hard about, oh, well, it
Yeah.
just didn't, it feels too modern, is what it's kind of like what I've seen. And
Yeah.
I guess I'm not as like tied to that at all. And
Yeah.
I'm also a newer reader, so of romance.
Like historical has always been our modern idea of history. Like
Yes,
it's not
exactly.
been like I remember I saw someone made a video about like these like shoes that Regency women would wear like over their regular shoes that were basically like meant to just like lift them. They were kind of like these like springs that just
Oh,
lifted them
okay.
above the street a few inches, basically to keep their dresses out of the mud because the
Yeah.
streets are filled with like dirt and mud and shit, literal human shit. Um, and so like apparently like walking around Regency London was not this like, oh, much more like peaceful, quiet, whatever that like
Yeah.
we paint sometimes. There was a lot of it was just like clack, 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 because it was all of these people walking around.
And there's so many elements of like hygiene and like
Yeah.
body hair, or like things that like we don't focus on in the books, because it's like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
we don't really want to hear about that you hadn't
It's
bathed,
gross. Yeah.
or what, or a lot of those things. So
Yeah.
anyways, we don't need to get into all
No,
that.
no, no,
But
yeah.
basically, is what I'm saying is open your mind and read
Your
historical,
mind.
and in particular, queer historical.
Yeah. Yeah. So specifically a rare find and yeah, and that one just like also just like packs so much in it. Like it's not just like archaeology and like the ethics of like digging and like who owns what discovery and who makes
Yes,
history and what like history gets written down and preserved, but it's also like class commentary. Like Georgie, the rake
yes.
they them love interest is like has like this class awakening of like, oh, I'm a landlord who I should actually like care
I
for
should
my
care about my
tenants.
people
Like, oh shit, like
that
I do
rely
have
on
a
me.
responsibility. And it's like yeah, gender and sex and it's just all it was just like really like interesting how none of
Yeah,
it
and
felt
still so like fun and sexy, and
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, I always am like blown away, but it's like, oh, it can do all of these things at the same time.
yeah, yeah. And then another queer historical that I wanted, and this is my pitch to you, Jane, to read Alexandra Feasty.
It's Alexander, if you're listening, you are at the top of my TBR.
Yes, yes, yes. We probably she wasn't like I'll never read Alex.
I didn't need much arm twisting.
But Ladies in Hating by Alexandra Vasti. And that one probably I would say you'd have a fuller experience if you at the very least read the first book in her series
I
because
think
it's the
that's the one
third
I
book.
had from the had requested from the library.
Yeah. Because I don't think you need the second one to like fully enjoy the third one, but there is a lot of like
Mind you, I'm
backstory.
an orderly reader, as you
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
surprising being like a spreadsheet nerd.
Yeah.
Um, I
Yeah.
sometimes make exceptions if people like really reassure me that it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I usually will start at the beginning
Yeah. But Ladies in Hating, I've talked about it at length on the podcast listener, so I'll
because
try to
that
keep
one
this
came out.
short.
That's
But
the most recent.
yeah, that one came out and it's sapphic rival gothic novelists like Kat and Georgie. Georgie is a favorite name of historical satire
Yeah.
writers, I've noticed.
Well, yeah, I guess it's like fairly androgynous too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
right, because you can like, you can
yeah,
Georgiana
Georgette,
is like,
George,
yeah,
Georgie.
right. Right. But yeah, that's rival gothic. They're like trapped in a mansion together. There's like a cute little fluffy dog named
Oh,
Francis
forced
Bacon.
proximity.
Forced proximity,
That's one of my
like
favorites.
slash like it's that kind of like magic adjacent where like you're like, is there ghosts? Is there not ghosts? It's
Oh,
not confirmed, but like there's like, like that kind of like it could be magic, it could just be like weird coincidence, but
yeah.
so like maybe sapphic ghosts, like
Everything's sapphic, even the ghosts.
even the ghosts are sapphic, and that's how it should
That's
be.
the kind of
If we're gonna
representation we
have bury
want.
your gays, at least bring them back as ghosts.
I love it.
But yeah, that's Ladies in Hating. And that's like one of my all-time favorite historicals.
Oh,
Like
that's
just yeah.
awesome. Okay, that one's definitely because see, I usually try to lean into holiday romance in December, but it's
Yeah.
already mid-December, and I got sidetracked by heated rivalry,
Fair and
which
listen.
I'm not mad about, but
No.
my plans
Yeah.
have shifted. My reading plans.
I think we talked about Heated Rivalry before I started recording, but yeah, you've
Yes.
been reading it, and I haven't watched the show yet because I don't have an HBO Max subscription, so I need to like wait for all the episodes come out, do a free trial,
It's
and watch all the episodes.
it's worth it. Yeah, I'm like upset. I actually did like a hockey list like analysis back in June to time with like the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Hmm.
And I'm Canadian, so like hockey's very part of our culture. I'm not particularly a huge hockey fan
Yeah.
myself, but it's like around me. And so heated rivalry was on the list.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try all the lists I make. I'm basically trying to read all of the things on those lists. So I have a very long TBR. But it wasn't until more recently, like a few weeks ago, that I'm like, okay, the show's coming. Like, I need to read this. And so yeah, I did skip to I did start with the second book because people kind of said, well, you can kind of it's okay. But I did read the first one like right
Yeah.
after. I basically proceeded to read the entire series
Yeah.
right away. And yeah, it's very good. And the adaptation is very good. I think it's just like really cool to see like a really well done romance
Mhm.
adaptation because like I don't really watch them because I find them disappointing generally. And so I'm
Yeah.
just like if it's something I really love, I'm just like what I don't know. But it just this feels like it's people who like
Yeah.
love the books and
Yeah.
really went out of their
Yeah.
way to like honor them. And the showrunner Jacob Turney has like said that in interviews, like he's a
Right.
fan and he's like,
Right.
I want these to be good, like just as much as all the readers do. And it's so sexy.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
like
I've been seeing
obviously
the edits.
it's very spicy, but it's like just I think it's also really demonstrating like I know and media tends to focus on like spiciness, like everyone's reading smut, like those make the headlines.
Yeah.
It's like I think as a romance reader, we're like I'm always like, but it's not just like the smut is doing something generally.
Right.
Like yes, there's very
No, but
erotic,
like, yeah.
but often it's like it's part of the character development. It's like showing you stuff about their relationship and about the
Yeah.
characters. And I think these scenes really show that.
Yeah.
There's like so much vulnerability and them
Yeah.
like sharing, like disclosing things to each other and like yeah, like it's just so good. It's like uh just like bringing
Yeah.
what I love in the page to the screen. And so I think yeah, And then there's just like a feral online fandom that
Yeah.
I've become part of. And I'm like, why do I suddenly want to make heated rivalry edit?
I know I've been seeing so many and I saw you'll like this. I saw someone being like because Ilya Rosanov, I guess he like is mentioned in like every single one of the
Yes.
books, and it just like it someone I guess counted all the times that he's mentioned in
Oh, I
each
think I
book,
saw that.
and was like, and it just like goes up. It like starts at like 9, and then obviously his book is a lot, and then it's like 40, 150, like
Yes,
250.
exactly. Because the book before their second book, like the long
Yeah,
game, where they're the feet, is like, yeah, he's quite prominent in that one.
yeah.
So it's and he's I compare. I don't know if you know Immortals After Dark, the Crutchley Cole
Yes.
series, but
Was
I'm
that
like
okay? Was that you that okay?
I was like, he reminds me of Lothair. Obviously, it's not
Yeah.
as long of a series, but I'm like, he always pops up and like starts stirring shit up. Like, I'm just like, oh, it's giving me these vibes where like he becomes more prominent, but in the earlier ones, it's like he's just kind of like chirping at people
He's
like
just
for some brief moments and kind of like, oh, like he's very perceptive and like points things out and makes people think and yeah, stirs the pot a bit. So I he's very delightful in the other books also. Such a
yeah.
great character. So anyways, I've been rather distracted, but it's been
Fair enough.
very joyful and fun distraction.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch it.
So I have been talking a lot. Do you do you have I want to hear more of your best ofs.
Yes. Well, I guess we'll go. We were just talking about actors, so I'll go to Fan Service by
Oh,
Rosie
that's on my
Danan.
list too.
Yeah, and that one was just like delightful. I mean, I've always been like a Rosie Danan fan, but that one I didn't
Yeah, have you
expect it
read
to
The
like
Roommate?
yes, yeah, I've read
That's
the roommate the intimacy
yes.
experiment and yeah. And so like I was like it's Rosie Danan, like I'm sure I'll like it, but like I
Yeah.
just didn't expect this one to like hit as much as it did. But I remember like putting it down and being like, dang, like
Yeah. It was so fun.
that one listener is speaking of you mentioned paranormals coming back.
Yes.
It's a sleeper werewolf romance.
Yeah.
It's this woman who I had to write down all the
I
characters' names because I never
I'm so
remember.
bad at remembering details.
Alex, I believe she's a vet tech, but she was like the moderator of like a big uh I'm thinking like Teen Wolf Supernatural-esque
Yeah.
like CW kind of show of like this fandom when she was a teenager, and then she like met the star of the show and he like accidentally on purpose was like a big dick to her. But it's like, it's explained. So she's like stuck being the mod of this like the most famous member of this fandom and the most knowledgeable about like werewolf lore. Uh, um, even though she hates the guy. And then this guy, Devin, is now like a washed up actor. He's trying to get a reboot of this show going because it's like the only time he's had success. And then there's like some like super mega wolfy blood moon situation or whatever that like triggers his latent wolf instinct. And he like transforms into a werewolf on like Venice Beach. Like a bunch of people are like, wow, he really wants to get this show like off the ground
He's
again.
doing this like guerrilla marketing
Like it's
basically.
crazy. Yeah. And he's meanwhile like, fuck. I think I'm a literal werewolf.
Well, like, because he like wakes up and is like, what happened,
Yeah.
basically.
And so he's like the only person that could be an expert on this is this like moderator. So I'm gonna go and like get her help. And they they do, and they obviously fall in love. And I think her dad is also like a real wolf
Yeah.
expert, so like that
Yeah.
helps
He like
too.
he's like a professor or something, I think. So she
Yeah,
actually
he's like
has some like, and she's a vet assistant, I think, or a vet
yeah,
tech.
yeah.
And so she like has some
So
animal
yeah, she does know
experience.
about animals, but yeah.
So she's not like completely like, what the hell are you talking about? She's like very practical, like, well, like here's some testing we could do.
She's like, I guess. Like, she's like, this guy is fucking with me, but he is offering to pay me a shit ton of money. So, like, what? Fine. Like,
Exactly.
fine. And then she's like, oh shit, he may be a wolf. For real.
Yes. The roommate by Rosie Danan was like one of my earlier like aha like romances where I was just like, oh, like this is what romance can do.
This is,
Because it was like so sexy, but also like so progressive and like because it talked
hmm
one of the main characters was like a sex worker
Yeah.
and talked about like yeah the porn industry and like a lot about like self-pleasure and like sexual pleasure and like really owning that. And I was like, oh, like, yeah, it
Yeah.
really imprinted on me. So I'm always
Yeah.
like, I feel like it doesn't get as much love sometimes. Like I don't hear about it that much. So I'm often like recommend that to people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, listener of the that and then also like the sequel, The Intimacy Experiment.
Yeah,
If you
I love
liked
that one
that
too.
the Kristen Bell, Adam Brody like rabbi
Um,
influencer
nobody
Netflix
wants
show.
this.
Yes, if you like that,
It's
The
kind of
Intimacy
got, yeah,
Experiment is that, but in my opinion, like 100 times better and also came first. So read those two. It's like a
exactly. And
duology.
it's, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like obviously more leans into the sexiness, the romance novel version.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So
Which is I enjoy
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Exactly. We love sex lessons.
That is all. Someone told me they don't like that, and I was like,
Oh.
oh, well, I
Oh,
don't know
so
what
you're
to
just
tell
not
you, but
really much fun. Okay. It's like, oh,
I'm
so
like, well, we have different tastes, so that's
I
fine.
mean, your tastes are wrong, but that's
But
fine. Like
but
everyone,
I'll try not to mention it, but
I won't yuck anyone's yum, but
but yeah, that is also my one of my favorites too.
yeah. And then I also just go in, we're talking about like influencers and all that. Well, Actually by Maisie Eddings. That
Oh,
was
okay.
another sleeper hit for me because I think I tried reading maybe her debut and it just wasn't for me. Like I'll probably go back to it because I liked this book so much.
Yeah.
And this was one of those like judge a book by its cover because like
Oh,
the
it has a really
covers,
cute cover, right?
she's like, yeah, it's like a kind of like 50s like
Yes.
pin-up style and like it's very clearly like mommy dom like
Yes.
slutty
Oh yeah.
glasses man.
The nerdy hero.
And that's exactly the
And she's
vibe
the
that
bombshell.
yeah, that you
I'm
get.
just looking at it
Like,
now. She's giving me like
yes.
Marilyn Monroe vibes a little bit.
Yes. Like it's yeah, it's very and it's Eva. She is like a host. I think it's inspired by the show Chicken Shop Date. And
Oh,
the interview
Amelia.
between the host and Andrew Garfield. It's
So
like
much
that. Like
chemistry.
that's what it is. I think it was inspired by that. So the character is like Chicken Shop Date, but with hot dogs for like a BuzzFeed kind of like sort of company.
Like, let's take the chicken and make it more the food more
No, and
sexual.
yeah, and it is like the book acknowledges is like no, like this is explicitly like a hot woman eating a hot
A
dog
hot
is
dog.
part of
The
the
appeal.
draw. Yeah. And then she like accidentally basically she and Riley, the hero, are were like college exes and he basically like ghosted her and like there's a very like reasonable reason why, listener, but it's like the driving action of the whole book is her she makes like an angry video because he's like TikTok famous as like the white man of the month, like your like liberal
Okay.
boyfriend. Like he's very like, and I mean, like I'm saying that facetiously, like, but he's, you know,
He's
an
having a moment.
awakened white man like on the internet with slightly little
Oh,
glasses. And he's genuine, but like, yeah, it's
yeah.
that kind of
We're
thing.
like,
And
what? A
she's
non-toxic guy?
yeah, right. Please don't let anything bad come out about him. And then she's like, well, I have a story for you. And it accidentally goes viral. But like everyone is like, what the fuck? Like, we love our white man of the month. Like, you're horrible. So like it backfires on her. So like they have to basically do
Oh,
like damage control where they go on like he comes on her podcast on like the show and like they do like
they're
dates, like
like
trial dates to like, you know, and they like break it down.
their reconciliation tour.
Right, exactly. And I'm pretty sure they're both bi. I think at
Okay,
least she is, but I think they both are bi. So it's a bi for bi romance.
nice. I have Maisie had a book on the 2024 list I compiled, so and that's still on. I'm trying to get through all those still too. So yeah, I'll add this absolutely to my list.
Yeah. Do you have any? Do you have a
What else did I have? I want so another historical, and I haven't read this one, but it has appeared on quite a few lists, and I wasn't familiar. It's called Rules for Ruin by Mimi Matthews.
I know Mimi
Uh,
Matthews, but yeah, I
yeah, so I
haven't.
just wanted to shout it out because I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
hadn't even really heard of that one. So I'm looking forward to reading that because it's been on
Yeah.
5 lists so far, which is pretty good for historical. It's
Yeah.
actually the most so far that I've seen a historical
Oh,
on
wow.
this year's best of list. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to try that one out. And another uh, gay romance was is It Had to Be Him by Adib Khorram. And
Mm.
I haven't read that one yet, but I just read the previous one in the series
Yeah.
from last year, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I found he was such a beautiful writer,
Yeah.
and just like very smart and clever, and I just loved like the community he built. It's like
Yeah.
a group of 3 friends. So
Yeah.
this one that just came out, and I think it takes place in Italy or part of
Yeah.
it at least.
On
So
like Lake Cuomo, kind of, or at least part of it.
say I came out when I was just before Steamy Lit, and I was trying to like read as many authors
Yeah.
that were attending, and I'd already read one of his, so I'm like, I can't read it right now, but it's
Yeah.
definitely going to be read by me. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one. So that was one that also has appeared on 3 lists so far.
Yeah. That one, I got like a third of the way into that one, and then my book returned to the library, and now it's on hold, which is why it couldn't make the list. But I was the 33% that I read, I was
Was it?
really enjoying, and it does like I'm calling him the main character. I mean, it's dual POV, but I don't know about you, but I always feel like there's still like one main character, even in dual POV.
Yeah, I can see that.
The
It's usually
I
if it's a
don't
series like the person we kind of have
yeah,
seen
so
a
it's
bit
that
more.
one.
Yeah.
It's that guy. So he deals with a lot of like body image issues, which
Okay.
felt like really well handled and really like relatable, and also like really interesting to see like a male character
Yes.
dealing with.
I bet
But it
I'll love it
was
because I also
yeah.
deal with those
Yes,
issues, listener.
as do I.
As I'm sure like most women do in some to
Yeah.
some degree.
Yeah, but
So
it
yeah,
felt like it was very much it was handled in a way that I feel like I don't see as often. Like I feel like it's either a lot of the times it's either the really gross approach of like I hate myself and I need to improve myself and like whatever, or the
yes,
like I love everything about myself and it's great and I love those books, like more of
yes,
those, especially for like plus size characters.
yes.
And he's not plus sized anymore, but like he was, but like he's still very much like
In that
I love
mindset.
myself, and like there's multiple instances where he's like has a negative self-thought and then he like catches himself like on page and he's like no, like I'm not
Yes.
that way, and it's like a redirection and it just felt like really
And there was hints of that
relatable.
in the prior book too.
Yeah.
Now that you're mentioning that, so that'll be yeah. I'm looking forward to that because that's one of
Yeah.
my. It's changing a lot now, but in terms of like plus size or like fat representation, like I felt like when we first started getting more of it, it was like the person's like whole personality was I'm
Yes.
fat and like how hard it is to deal with that or like the
Yeah.
struggle of that. And it's just like, I don't mean it being like a dress, but like, it's just like, that's what their whole character is about. And I just am like, not into that.
Right.
And so now I'm seeing it a lot more like nuance, like you said. Like I don't necessarily also like the toxic positivity sort of like
Yeah.
everything's great and perfect, but like
Yeah.
the reality of like, yeah, we try to like deal with those issues, but it's like
Yeah.
they don't just always go away. And like you said, like they come up and we have to deal with that. But it's just like one facet of who we are as a person. So that sounds awesome. And I just
Yeah.
based on how much I liked his writing from the first book, I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to like I'm sure he dealt with those issues
Yeah.
like very beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah, so that not on
Yay.
an honorable mention, listener. It's an honorable mention on the list. It can't like
Yeah, exactly.
make the official
The
list.
33%
Yeah, it's
test,
great.
that's pretty good. I had a couple others that these
Yes.
are not on really lists, but they're on my list.
Yes. Perfect.
One is Into the Woods by Jenny Holiday. It was a really fun, it's basically like two characters that like meet at a summer camp. It's like a artist kind of
Yes.
camp, and so
Yeah.
they're like there for their respective artistry or skills. I think she's like a dancer and he's a musician. And so it's just like such a fun setting to like, feel like that whimsy of like the summer and being away at camp.
Yeah.
And it added like a ticking clock sort of like
Yeah.
we're only in this like space together for so long. So yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Shadow's Heart by Cressley Cole is like the
Mm.
latest it released from the Immortals After Dark
Yeah.
series, which I haven't heard a ton about, but I know it's like the series is like over like 20 years old now,
Right.
basically. But I did feel like it was a real like return to form for Cressley. Like it was very
Okay.
fun. Like Lothair is one of the like he's not the feature character, but he's like a pretty central part of the story, and it's like just makes everything more fun.
I love him so much.
He did not win his bracket, and that was quite an upset.
I
Although it
know.
was
I was
it was very close. So it's.
I was like, you guys are just wrong. Like I'm so
Well, see,
sorry, but you're
I think
wrong.
he's the most entertaining character, but like the vote was best hero. So I'm kind of
Yeah, he
like,
is kind of like a big dick.
yeah, right. I'm like, I don't really want to date him necessarily, but
He
like,
does get his head chopped off. To be fair, he does
oh,
get
there was still
decapitated.
a piece of skin holding on.
And then he does carve out his heart and send it to.
That is okay, fair. Fair. He did make a pretty grand gesture.
Well, that wasn't even a grand gesture. That was like a petty, like,
Yeah, that's true.
fuck you.
That's true.
Anyway,
That's very true. And didn't she send like her
she
hand
sends her
back?
middle finger
Yeah,
back.
her
Yeah.
finger back. So good. But
That's fair. We
anyways,
have
but
two whole episodes of
I
therapy.
know. Anyways, but I just wanted to shout that one out. If anyone is a fan of the series and hasn't like caught up on the last few books, I thought this one was very good. I really enjoyed it. If you're a fan of the series, to pick it up because yeah, it was like really like yeah, brought in one of your favorites, introduced some new characters or more in depth on their story. So yeah, check that one out. And then what was the other one? Oh, Once Upon a Time in Dollywood by Ashley Jordan. That this is a debut, and it was Reese's book club pick, so it did get some attention. But I really liked it, and again, it was kind of like we were talking about at the beginning, these like really emotional stories that are quite like the gut punch, but it was very well written, and yeah, it's basically she's a playwright who's kind of like struggling with her like writer's block and kind of escapes her city life to like stay at her like grandmother who's passed away, her cabin in like the mountains. And he's like her neighbor, and he's recently divorced and a single dad. And so they, they have this draw to each other, even though she's very like closed off, and they're both working through a lot of kind of their baggage and with some trauma from the past that as well, especially on her part that she hasn't really dealt with. And so there's also like she goes to like grapples with going to therapy, and there's that's explored. And like I like seeing therapy on page, but I don't like when it's just like, oh, she went and
And
everything's
now
good now.
everything's, yeah. Yeah,
So it
no.
actually like talks a lot about like her resistance to even going, and then like that process of like making it like it actually starting to work for her and that kind of struggle. So anyways, I really enjoyed that story. And it is she's black and he's white, and I thought that was really handled well of like he's like pretty woke or whatever word you want
Yeah.
to like,
Yeah.
fairly, but he also still was like really understood that like he can't relate to like a lot of her experience. And so I liked how that was handled.
Mhm.
That there was just still that acknowledgement of like, even though he's like trying really hard and like has done a lot of like his homework and understands like dynamics and history of Black culture, essentially, was still like, yeah, like acknowledging that and not making him
Hmm.
like this perfect white boy that for to date a Black woman. So I thought that was well done. So yeah, I enjoyed that one too. So I think those are
Yeah.
my main
Your main
favorites.
ones. Yeah.
And I mentioned already that Elizabeth Stevens one
Yes.
near the top about the Bone King and the Starling. That one was
Yes.
very good. It was very different. It is a little more fantasy, but it's like
Uh-huh.
Viking, and there's a lot of it is quite violent, but like it's just very fascinating, the
Yeah.
story. And it's like doing something like it's there's sort of a moral there, or like I don't know, it's doing something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's doing
You're
something.
like,
I can't
huh.
articulate, but it does
I know.
something.
I'm like,
No,
I'm
that's
not
all.
the
I'm
best
like,
with my words,
yeah, I'm
but
like,
it felt more meaningful.
like it, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you get
It,
it. This is why I'm
yeah.
not a reviewer. I'm like I like the data. I'm not as good at always
Yeah.
explaining what I loved about things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that one also it's a shorter read, so it's like
Yeah.
was very quick to get through. But I love that one too.
Yeah. That one of my official honorable mention that I did read the whole thing, but it's like I think it's not technically a romance, so it can't be
Okay.
on the list. But like it is like it's a romantasy. It's The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow.
Okay, yeah.
And all of Alex's books have a very strong like romantic subplot. They're like technically fantasy first, like,
Yes.
romantic fantasy. I think you could make an argument that The Everlasting is like an actual romantasy because like the main romance is like the driver of the
Yeah.
plot, but it's also like it's basically like a time loop, like Lady Night and her scribe.
Oh, I like
and
a time
it
loop.
and it has to do and it like is very it's very timely in terms of like how like who writes history, like how like fascist regimes rise and like controlling like the narrative and like all of the it's so and the end is just like twist after twist after twist, which like maybe some people
Oh.
saw coming, but I was like, whoa, not expecting any of this.
I have I've been on a couple lists that I've seen so far, but I have also seen like just very rave reviews
Yeah.
about it. So
Yeah.
I'll have to the romantasy category has become I have just like
Yeah.
kind of lumped them all like, is it fantasy romance or romance fantasy?
Yeah.
Like because
Yeah.
it's too hard for me to like distinguish
Yeah.
them, and because market like people choose a lot of the descriptors based on
Yeah.
like marketing, not necessarily
Yeah.
what's the content is. So I think it's okay to
Yeah.
include it. It's not there's not a I think if it's only if there's like not a happy ending,
Yeah,
then
there's an HEA, and all of Alex's books have an
that's for me
HEA
is like
for
that's
a
the
main
only
couple.
like
Yeah. I'm like,
no
I could
to put
make
it
the
on your list.
argument, but I was like, there are so many other books. Like, I already have to pare this list down. Like, why do I make it easy? So that's an honorable mention, listener. But one that is on my list that did make me think of when you were talking about Once Upon a Time in Dollywood, which is also one that's been on my TBR, but I need to like be in the right headspace to read that.
Yes.
And like what you have said has only like
Yeah,
reinforced that I need
you're
to be
like,
on the
I
right
need to
headspace.
be ready for maybe some tears,
I need to
some
like,
feels.
yeah, maybe like be outside on a sunny day when I read this. But because you mentioned like therapy being a process throughout, one of mine, and this is like Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, which
Yes.
is like it feels like I don't know, part of me feels like it's like such a cop out to like pick such a popular book of the year, but like
It,
I really loved it.
I really loved it too.
She goes to therapy throughout it's Scarlett and Lucas. She's a diver, he's a swimmer. It's college. I swam for a long time, so it
Oh,
felt very like both healing and reawakening for my personal trauma of
yeah.
being a student
And
athlete.
probably like nostalgic a bit too.
Yeah, well, there's nothing nostalgic about waking up at
Oh.
4 a.m. for practice before school. I mean, like that was never me. Absolutely
I
not.
really like because it's a sport or like a
Yeah.
something I don't really know anything about. So I
Yeah.
found that like it's not like it went into so much detail, but that aspect of
Yeah.
it, I was like, I found that really interesting.
Yeah. And I liked that. I know a lot of people didn't like about this, but one of the things I really liked about this book was the female friendship representation. Like the fact that Scarlett and Penelope's relationship is kind of almost as important as Scarlett and Lucas's in a lot of ways.
Yes. And it's really complicated too.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I don't, didn't like that." But I was like, I am like really
Yes.
digging this. And that the thing is that Allie Hazelwood a lot of the times has complicated female friendships in her book. I think which Love on the Brain. And I think when my sister and I did this on the podcast, like we talked about in the episode, because like the FMC's friend basically like stabs her in the back, like historically, like in that book.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hate this bitch. Like she's so like whatever. And I was like, wow, have I healed a little bit that like I can enjoy this and deep it? I was like, have I matured?
You're like, I feel so proud of myself. Growth.
Good job.
I didn't immediately accuse her of, I feel like that's changed for me too, reading. Like that's so much what I love about romance is just like learning and exposing yourself to like so many different types of relationship and communication and like that you just I know and there's been talk about this like that it does like increase empathy in people reading
Hmm.
fiction and I do like hardly believe that because yeah it's just like I feel like too like when I have friends like I remember a friend like saying something about a woman like oh this guy cheated with this woman and she was like hates the woman and I'm like yeah but like what like he was part of that too like
Yeah.
like taking that immediate sort of jealousy or anger and like examining that a bit.
Yeah.
And I do feel
Yeah.
like I think like romance has contributed to that. Reading romance has contributed
Yeah.
to that growth for me.
Good job,
I'm
me.
sure therapy has also helped.
Yeah, no. Therapy, the Prozac has done wonders.
Yes, I'm
Brain
on a
damage.
different strain, but yes,
Yeah.
also.
Like SSRIs. Those are also good, I guess.
Exactly. It's like all part of working towards the betterment
Yeah.
of ourselves.
Um, or I'm going to tie that into the next one. Working towards a better bit. Every Step She Takes by Alison Cochrane. Another sapphic
Oh,
romance. And they're hiking the Camino. And I feel like you're walking towards a better self when you do like log trails like that.
yeah.
And
It's like a
it's just
pilgrimage of some kind.
yes, right. And it's specifically on like an all gay like queer tour. It's supposed to be all
Nice.
sapphic women, like sapphic on the tour, but then like one gay man who's just like very exuberant and everyone's like, why not? You
He's
could like
fine.
stay. That's fine, whatever. But I really liked it because it was just like really a beautiful representation of like late in life sexuality, not just in terms of the main character Sadie like realizing that she is sapphic and she does like women like at the age of 35, but also like she's a virgin and
Okay.
kind of like coming to terms with her sexuality in that way, like as well, like both sexual desire and sexual preference, which was something that I really liked to see
Yeah.
explored.
I'm gonna have to uh I read her Christmas one, holiday one.
Kiss
I
Her
can't
Once
remember
for
the name.
Me. Kiss Her Once for Me.
Yes, and I really like that one.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely want to check out. And I do really, yeah, I love I'm later in life at that stage, so I like seeing that representation. So yeah, that sounds awesome. And I
Yeah.
also I like also had a lot of like late in life exploration of my own
Yeah.
sexuality and attitude towards relationships and all
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So yeah, very drawn to that. So that's a
Yeah.
good rec.
Yeah, yeah, late in life in heavy quotes because
Oh, you're
yeah.
like, they're 29. No, I'm just kidding.
Like to be clear,
35.
35 is not old.
And I'm older than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like to be clear, it's nowhere near. Like you're still a baby at 35.
but it sometimes feels late.
Yeah. No, well, yeah, I mean, and that's like part of the kind of the thesis of the book,
Yeah,
which I really enjoyed. And it's something that Allison and I like talked about when I had her on the podcast earlier this year too. So,
I think I might have listened to that episode
yeah.
also. Yay. I feel like I think this turned into like an all queer
Almost.
recommendations, but I'm like, I'm not mad about it. I did spend like the first part talking about all the bestsellers, which were decidedly
Yeah.
not queer.
You know what? They don't need more promo. Like Rebecca Yaros, I love you. You don't need my
I
promo.
know. This is part of why I'm like looking for data that kind of like
Yeah.
surfaces more diverse
Yeah.
content. But I do think Heated Rivalry will probably uh,
Hopefully.
it ended up on the list for November and the show premiered, but it's like I think all her books are like in the top 100
Yeah.
right now. So
Yeah. But I know a lot of people are talking about how Harlequin really dropped the ball with the paperback because it's like out of stock and there's not a tie-in and it's
So
like
I have like feelings about that. Well, I don't have a stake in it, but I think there
I
are
would love to hear
reasons.
them.
So essentially, and I was on the Buzzing About Romance podcast recently
Hmm.
too, and so some of this came from Becky, the host there, because I wasn't as familiar, but it's with Karina Press specifically, which I guess is a digital first or digital only imprint.
Oh.
So like it's always been more primarily ebook focused. So that's one piece of it. But the other is just the show has like it's a Canadian production
Hmm.
and it wasn't like the distribution in the US wasn't really and it wasn't announced until like less than 2 weeks before the actual premiere.
Yeah. And I do think I heard that they didn't HBO didn't like sign the deal until like 3 weeks before. Like the director
Yeah.
has said that. So like,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's like so exactly. I didn't know the whole like did they know in advance? Maybe they had it like I think they were pretty confident it would get sold, but like if you don't actually know for certain, you're
Right.
probably not gonna like plan a big run of something. So in terms of like just if it's
Mhm.
you're planning or just launching in the Canadian market, it was probably okay. But like
Yeah.
I don't think the plans they like had enough runway to really do all that advanced planning.
Hmm.
I'm not saying like it couldn't have been done better, but I
Yeah.
think there are some like factors that
Yeah.
played into that. And then also Harlequin was launching, they're doing a bunch of like movies tied to their books that have launched. They're kind of like
Oh.
Hallmark-esque type
Yeah.
films. And that was all launching right around the same time too. So I'm thinking their team was probably focused on a lot of that marketing.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm not like a Harlequin apologist or anything,
No,
but I
yeah.
think there's more factors in play because even like in Kent, like there was just like promo for kind of that week of like of the premiere. Whereas like, yeah, I think if they
Right.
knew like it was going to be so huge and all across North America, like the plans probably would
Yeah.
have been a bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, and like yeah, like from someone who has like worked in publishing and has worked with like, movie tie-in editions, like it is hard to gauge what to put your,
You're focused
resources
on. Oh, and
in.
the other thing too is that it's Rachel Reed's rights that she sold. So the publisher isn't actually like
Yeah.
directly involved in the production,
Yeah.
right? So I think Becky from Buzzing About Romance mentioned like compared to like a Bridgerton, where I believe
Hmm.
the publisher is the one who like sold the
Hmm.
TV rights. So they were like tied into the whole process. And so I'm sure like the publisher was kept aware, but like it wasn't necessarily their deal,
Hmm.
where they're, integral to all the planning that goes
Yeah.
on. So
But I
anyways, but
mean, it's
hopefully
still like I
it's a bad look. And it's
it's
sad
a
for all the
bad
romance
look. No,
bookstores
but also I
too.
was talking about how like the publisher not being involved, like even when the publisher is the one, like as someone who's worked on books that will have Netflix adaptations, like
Yeah.
that haven't come out yet. I know specifically like Netflix, and obviously this isn't Netflix, but like Netflix is a bitch to work with. Like they're so unwilling to share like their
Yes.
logo or like any of like the show's media, like all like they just like make it really difficult to make
Yeah.
tie-in
Well, and
editions.
and even like the because the actual show like it started filming like I think in or it got announced in like June of this year.
Yeah, I
So
didn't
that's
hear
not
about
even
it
like
until
that
like the
long
week
of
before.
a run, a lead up to
Hmm.
actual launch of the launch of the show. So like even like I know people want a movie tie-in cover and I do too. Like
Hmm.
that image that it's on a magnet and I'm like I
Right. There's so many like promo images of them, and I'm like,
yes,
oh,
but again
just
like you
slap
said
the
like it's not like the publisher doesn't have that
right,
those assets like and I don't know what how that works in terms of them
right,
figuring out what's the cover going to be, getting that IP
right.
or whatever the permission to use that stuff. So
Hmm.
all I'm saying is there's a whole bunch of factors, I think,
Yeah,
and part of it is probably yeah, not expecting it also to take off so much. But hopefully we'll get a next season and all these things will come into place. But the part that because I'm very involved in tracking the romance bookstores, I've seen a lot of them say like they've missed a lot of sales because of not having the
yeah,
uh, paperbacks available. So
yeah,
that sucks.
yeah. I really hope they're putting in like a rush print, like that they're paying for
And
like the
I've been like
expedited.
hinting at like, let's do like a publicity tour at romance bookstores across North America.
And I think they have like I
Well, yeah, they
saw
at
the
Toronto
two
they
guys at
did.
like
Yeah, they went to Joie de Livre. It's in Montreal. That was where like the after party was held. And then they
yeah.
did Hopeless Romantics in Toronto. And then Rachel herself is going to, there's a new bookstore opening, and it might actually be this coming weekend in Halifax, actually.
Oh, nice.
So we're very excited for to see new Canadian romance bookstores.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be amazing to see Rachel and the two actors appear at
Yeah.
them. That'd be a huge boost for the bookstores. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I'll try to like hint as much as I can. I'm like, I have a map that you can refer to. Let me like
Here's
draw a
my
line of
data. Just
exactly.
forward it to the like head of publicity, like Harlequin. Like
Exactly. I think I actually did send an email to some
you're
people.
like,
I'm
just letting
like,
you know.
I don't know you, but I have some information that might be useful.
Please. Please,
Please,
please.
and please come to Vancouver while you're at it.
Yes, yes. Oh, is that where you
That's
are you
yeah,
out
I'm
in
in Vancouver,
Vancouver?
so Perfect
That's
Match is
nice.
our local romance bookstore, and so that's I am friends with the owner because she reached out to me went about the directory, and actually she didn't know where I was based, so I was like, "What? You're opening in Vancouver?" So we immediately yes
Yeah.
met up and chatted all things romance.
That's amazing. I have a few books left on my list. All right, so I'm bringing it back
Yes.
with When the Tides Held the Moon by Vanessa Vida Kelly, which has a very strong found family element. Early 20th century Coney Island, like circus carnival
Oh.
environment. It's a merman and a human boy and he's from Puerto Rico. So he is like not only is he a gay a gay man in, 20th century New York City, but he's also brown gay man in 20th century, early 20th century New York City.
A lot of intersectionality going on here.
Yes,
And also a merman? Or no, the other person's a merman.
the Rio, who's the love interest. So it's Benny, who's the main character, and then
Okay.
Rio is the merman.
Okay.
And I won't spoil anything else about that.
I love
Uh,
mermaids, so I'm like,
but it does have an HEA, so do with that information what you will.
okay.
And also the intersectionality of because it's like circus, this like he's like gets involved. The found family is like the sideshow of the circus. So you
Yeah.
have like a woman with dwarfism, and like you have an amputee, and like another gay couple, and like
Like
there's
Greatest
just like a
Showman vibes.
yes, like it's very yeah, found family mermaid. I just finished it. It's so lovely. And I think it's Vanessa's debut, but she's known for like her art. Like
Oh,
I know she did something for the red, white,
okay.
and royal blue cover. Like she does a lot of like fan art for a lot
I
of
feel like I've
things.
heard someone talk about this book recently, and I can't
Yeah.
place where, but I feel like I remember an author who was like very well known for their art.
Yes. Yeah. So this is her debut. And I don't know whether she did the cover, but the cover is phenomenal. Like the
Oh,
cover is So beautiful. But yeah, it's an MM historical.
What was it?
Just
What's the title
When
again?
the Tides Held the Moon by
I
Vanessa
put
Vita
Vanessa
Kelly.
Mermaid book and that did not bring it up.
She does also, she spells Vanessa VE. So that is
Oh,
also a
oh, that's so pretty.
mhm.
It's giving like the blue skin is giving me Ice Planet Barbarians vibes a little bit, which I like.
You know what? Fair enough. He is very like strong and big, and he's a merman. He's a merman.
Oh yes.
And
Okay. I have like this has
that
really
one.
been hard on my TBR.
Yeah. Yeah,
I have a lot
listen,
of
I'm so sorry the
editions.
list is getting longer. I was like on Goodreads and I saw that my TBR had like 998 books. And I was like, my goal is I'm just gonna keep this under 1,000. No. That was several months ago and
The
I failed miserably.
Mine, I don't know what mine is like around 500 or 600, but
Yeah.
I have really stopped adding. Like it really
I
has to pass a
tried.
threshold for me to add now because I'm just like, I no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so, but that's fine. That's my
Yeah.
one like sadness that comes up about romance is I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever get to read everything I want
Yeah. There's
to.
too many.
And I'm like, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
But
that's a good.
I am prone to depression sometimes. The sads come in
I
once in a
have
while.
no. All right, my last two are both, interestingly enough, they are both, speaking of the longevity and how there are so many romance novels, they're both like inspired. One of them is a persuasion retelling.
Oh,
And one of them it's not a retelling, but the main character um is named Maurice and he is Mary Bennett essentially so it's The
ah,
Princess and the PI by
Nikki
Nikki
Payne.
Payne. And so she has a Pride and Prejudice and a Sense and Sensibility. I
Yeah.
guess this is like The Princess and the Pea kind of
Okay.
retelling, but like it's not it's about a like internet sleuth who's like big on like kind of like a Reddit situation
Yeah.
and then like an actual PI and she is like the daughter of a cult leader. And
Oh.
he had his like detective career destroyed by this cult. So like he has like a vendetta against them. And like she's trying to avenge her brother who was like killed or who like her brother died and like they're not sure whether it was an accident or not, but like she's trying to protect his like life's work. And then she accidentally gets accused of murder because while she's stealing the life for the like technology her brother invented, the guy who stole it dies. And so everyone's like, you killed him. And so like they have to team up and he has to team up with the daughter of his enemy, you know, and he
Oh,
has a
that's
mustache.
very important detail.
Very important detail. Yeah. And the cover is very like noir, like I
Yes,
know
I've seen
he's with his
that.
like, yeah, that one was great.
So I on a similar Nikki Payne
Yeah.
vibe, I read the that new Jane Austen anthology, Ladies in
Hmm.
Waiting, that just came out, and she has a story in there, and I really
Yeah.
liked her story.
Yeah.
It's like a take on no, I can't remember her, Caroline Bingley from
Yeah.
Pride and Prejudice, the sister. And she kind of like reimagines the whole
Yeah.
setting. And so she's like in, I think based in like New Orleans and she's half black, but is like white
Yeah.
passing. And so she basically like leaves to go to the
Yeah.
countryside kind of thing for like an arranged marriage because she basically is like,
Oh.
I can't stay here with like the Darcy character, being like,
Yeah.
and so it's like this little like road, like train trip she's on, and it's
Ooh.
just like, they're all little pretty short stories, but it was very fun. And it's like a guy who's on the train is like who she kind of ends up with. And
I
it's,
love
yeah, it was
that.
just very sexy and fun. So,
Yeah.
and just like a really different take on the character.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. If you like Jane Austen retellings
Yeah.
and Nikki Payne, who does them very well.
Yeah. Yeah, I read Ladies in Waiting is one. I've been reading it I've been doing like one story at a time, like in
Yes.
between a sort of like a palate cleanser, just like in between like full length books. So I haven't gotten to her yet, but I did. There
Yeah,
also is there is a Mary Bennett one in that that I
yes,
have read
yes.
that I forget who it's by. There's a lot of wonderful, wonderful authors in that
Yes. I think
anthology.
I like it was mostly the romance writers that I like because some were more like women's fiction, I guess, or
Mhm.
writers. And so like Sarah McLean was one who's also in it, and like Eloisa James did one. So it's
Yeah,
like naturally I gravitated to
yeah,
the more romancy
yeah,
stories.
yeah. And then my last one, bringing it back with Jane Austen, we're ending with The Earl That Got Away by Diana Quincy, which is a persuasion retelling. And the yearning in this book. Okay, so I am personally of the opinion, I don't know whether you have a stake in this game. I'm of the opinion that Persuasion is like the most underappreciated Austen. Like literally even just for like the letter at the end alone, like Wentworth's letter to
I
Anne.
haven't read Persuasion. Is that like that's
You
probably
got
bad to
it's the
admit.
yearn the like the
But it does seem,
yearning.
I had thought about doing a Jane Austen voting bracket.
Well, that's gonna be
Um,
contentious.
yeah, but I also was like, is it too like, of course, Pride and Prejudice is gonna win. But when I was trying to like get a sense of like what the vibes were, it did seem like there are a lot of persuasion stands. I just don't know if they're as
Yeah, I don't
the
know if they're
numbers are
strong enough
there.
to
But a lot
overcome
of people love that one.
the
So
Darcy. Persuasion's a sleeper. Listener, if you haven't read it,
including
Persuasion is a
me.
sleeper hit. Jane, you guys should read
You got,
it. And then
I
you should
gotta
also
do
read
it.
The Earl That Got Away by Diana Quincy, which it's Persuasion retelling.
I love her work, but I haven't read that one yet.
It's she's an I think she's Arab American heroine.
Okay.
And I think all of Diana's character, or at least like
Yeah,
in her recent like last two series, they've all featured like Arab heroines. Yeah,
which
so
I'd love
she's
like integrating some of
yeah.
that history into them.
Yeah. And so it's like they had like a whirlwind romance and then like she had to break up with him. And in the original Persuasion, the reason she breaks up with him is like her family members like convince her because like he's poor, he doesn't really have money, he can't really support them, and they're like, you can do better. And then like 10 years later they meet again. She has not done better. She's like an old maid, basically. In the Diana Quincy book, it's very much like she's been pining after him this whole time. So like there's just no way anyone's ever gonna stand up like to the image that she has of him. He comes back, he's successful. In this one, he has like just inherited a title. So obviously like before he was Basil, but now he's Hawk. So you know he's
Oh,
like ready to be a hero
Hawk. That's a very
because
good
he's
name.
Hawk. His name is Hawk. Because that's his title.
And I'm also a big Ethan Hawke fan, so
Yeah, so but yeah, he's Hawk and he comes and he's obviously, like the tension of persuasion is like he's angry, he's like, I'm gonna make her suffer, but then internally he's like, I love her so much, I miss her so much. Like she's even more pretty than she was before.
I love that when they're like, I'm determined to be punish her, but I
Like
just
cold and
can't.
aloof. Yeah, like it was giving very if you like oh shoot. Oh, the Wallflowers prequel, Lisa
Oh,
Kleypas.
again the magic.
Yes, if you like Again the Magic, which is also those vibes where like he comes back, he's successful, he's gonna make her suffer, but he just can't do it. And she's like internally like, oh, he must hate me so much, but I still love him so much, but he hates me. Like, look at him glaring at me. And like Diana in this particular book just is so much like that delicious thing that you're only gonna get in like dual POV third person, where like in one chapter she's like, he was staring at me the whole evening with daggers in his eyes, like he hates me so much, I broke his heart. And then the next thing, like he's like, oh my God, her and her in that dress, I couldn't keep my eyes off her
This
the
is
whole
why I
night.
need dual point of view sometimes because I'm like, I need to know what he's thinking.
Top tier yearning in this one. It's
I'm reading Good Spirits right now by
yes.
for my book club, and it's not obviously historical, but it like I'm only like I don't know in the first third, but he's like not supposed to like he's supposed to be very impartial, and he just like can't help himself.
He's like,
He's
she's
just
so
like I want to
nice.
protect you.
Yeah.
I want to help
Yeah.
you. And just
Yeah, that
like,
book listener is like he's the like ghost of Christmas past or whatever,
yes.
and she's like his Scrooge of the year, but she's
And
like
he's
not
supposed to be like
Scrooge.
the
So he's
judge
like,
kind of thing.
why? She's so nice. He's like, is there has
She's
there
like
been
a
a
precious
mistake?
snowflake. Why? What's going
He's
on?
like, she took the worst thing we found was that like she stole a piece of candy once and then she returned it like 10 minutes later. So like I don't really know.
It's so, and he keeps trying to be like, we'll see. Something's gonna come up.
She's gonna
You're
reveal
hiding
something.
something. And he's just like, maybe not. She seems
Yeah.
pretty pure.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was good. I loved that one too.
Yeah, I enjoy those vibes when they're just like, I like when the MMC is like kind of being put through the ringer a little bit,
Mhm.
having all these feelings.
I want him to get slapped around by emotion. Some just like,
So okay, so an interest. Sorry, I know we're running
oh,
fairly
you're
long, but this came up at I go to like a dance party thing every Tuesday night that I run,
wonderful.
and it's all women, and there are a lot of queer women there, and so I was talking to some about heated rivalry, and one of my friends who she's bisexual, married to a lesbian, and
Mhm.
her partner was like didn't like it. Like she was just like, why are they always like looking at each other like they're in disgust, like they hate each other? And I was just like, what? And I'm just like, that's hot.
What are you talking about?
And so it was just like really like fascinating that was like, and I guess she's like not it like has never been with men or like is more in like queer community, and so
Yeah.
like
Well,
not as
she's coming at it from like probably the stereotypical lesbian experience of like we're gonna pine after each other for years and not do anything, but like so it's not glaring. She's like, I'm used to like doe eyes across the room, and then like, they
and
finally
then
talk.
we'll express our feelings and immediately move in together.
Yes, and then like I'm gonna pull up with a U-Haul
You
rental. I'm gonna say, "Hey, I love you. I've loved you for years.
and my dog.
My apartment's bigger. You want to come?" Also, I found this kitten on the street. Should we adopt it and like
I
name it?
found it so fascinating that I'm like, oh, that's like, I find that hot. Like that
That's
really turns me
interesting.
on. And same with
Yeah,
like the partner who's bisexual, like she's been with men before and is like, oh, like, yeah.
that's so funny.
And she was like,
That's so
men have looked at
funny.
you like that? And she's like, yes. So it's like,
Damn.
oh, so fascinating. Like
And
what,
she's like, "What's wrong with these people?"
yeah, exactly. Like this is like, this makes me uncomfortable essentially.
Yeah.
And other people are just like, oh.
Meanwhile, I saw like a reel of someone like watching Heated Rivalry with his boyfriend, and he was like, "Babe, you know what this makes me think?" And his boyfriend is like, "No, please, please, can we get through 10 minutes of this episode without breaks?" And it's like very clear what breaks mean. He's like, "Please, I just want to finish the episode. We've taken like 5 breaks."
You're like, we're gonna have to watch this separately and then
Yeah, he's like,
come
and I
back
mean, I don't know
together.
whether it was a skit or not. Like maybe they were just, but I was like, this is
But
great.
that's
This is the content I want.
I watched it with my boyfriend and I was like, that's hot.
You're like,
That's hot. I kept pointing
oh,
out, I like this part. Just make note.
right. Yeah. And he's like, he takes out, he's like, okay.
He's like, oh, really? Oh, okay.
He's like learning all new parts of you.
Yeah, and some of that's too, like you're like, oh, why does this work for me? Or yeah, I love that
Yeah.
part of romance.
Yeah. Some of it, I'm like, I don't know if I'd want this in real life. And well, you always start like
Exactly.
that. You're like, sometimes I'm like, I don't think that I'd want this in real life. And then I see it again in a book and I'm like, maybe I was too quick to judge. And then I see it again and I'm like, oh, maybe I.
Well, yeah, and our tastes change too. And a
Yeah.
lot of it's to like context dependent too, right? It's like, oh,
Right.
in a like safe
Right.
relationship or like
Right.
someone I feel very comfortable with is like,
Yeah.
yeah, I some things are maybe like too advanced level for like a
A
first
beginner.
a
Yeah.
beginner or like some, two people who are new to each other. But yeah, exploring those kinds of things, like I think that's what a lot of women are drawn to in romance of just like having that safe place to like explore those ideas of like, oh, what relationships can look like, what communication can look like, what sex can look like.
Yeah.
Um, like, yeah, that was like a big part of the draw for me too.
Yeah. Where a man glaring at you is not a danger signal signal,
Yes,
where it's
exactly.
actually hot.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
like on the bus. Yeah, I'm
No.
worried.
I'm gonna get off.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye.
But yeah, like with someone that I know cares about me, or I
Sure.
feel safe with. Yes.
Yes. In a role play scenario? Fine.
Yes,
Fine.
exactly.
Right. Right.
What? You're so overcome that you just like can't stand it?
Oh, okay. How'd my clothes get on the floor? I don't know what just
Exactly.
happened.
Well, yes, I am causing that effect on you.
That's power, baby. Uh,
Yes, empowerment.
so do you have any other romance books or trends or data from this year that you want to highlight?
No, I don't think so. I think there's just like I'm working on stuff that
Yeah.
I hope to like I once the year's over, I want to start digging into some other like certain themes or topics when I kind of have a set of data I can start analyzing for a bit bigger set than like the month to month I've been doing right now. So there's like endless ideas basically of like things to look into. Um, so yeah, I'm just stay tuned for more. And yeah, if anyone like ever has ideas or questions, like I love my DMs are open. I love
Yeah.
chatting. I'm yeah, a total nerd about it all. So feel free. And I've heard from lots of other data folks that not everyone is into the numbers, but there's a lot of us out there. So
Yeah.
I always love hearing from people.
All right, so to before we finish, I know you've been expecting
Oh,
this. What is the last book that made you want to stay up reading?
well, it's no surprise after everything I've talked about, but it's Heated Rivalry. I just
Fair
finished
enough.
the last book in the series. Um,
Oh,
and so yeah, between that and the show and the like online fandom, it's really been occupying a lot of my brain space. I did post a funny pie chart about like the breakdown of thoughts of Heated Rivalry fans, and it was like I don't know, 5% was about like survival, and the rest was about Ilya's chain, butts, the chair drag. I don't know,
I've
all these
heard the
iconic
butts.
things.
Yeah, I've like seen edits of people talking about the butts and then the chair drag, and I'm like rubbing my hands together like a
Yeah,
greedy
it's gonna be like a
goblin.
nice little Christmas present, late belated Christmas present for
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I'm gonna have to figure out. Yeah, I gotta watch it like when my family's not.
Yes, that too. That too. I thought about having a watch party, and then I was like, maybe I'll see the check the vibe first before I
Especially
watch
the
it.
beginning. Like I
Yes,
know like
exactly.
especially like episode 1 is like
Yes. So good. But I'm also like pretty shameless, so
hmm,
if other people are weird, that's their issue, but I'm like,
yeah.
let's talk about this.
So, how did you feel about the lube, the amount of lube that they like whatever.
That was one of the criticisms that they didn't feature
There's no
lube.
lube.
Well, it's not that there's none, it's just like not super visible. Like they don't
Hmm.
focus on that, which I'm kind of like, there are condoms are shown at one point, like the joke about, or it's in the book where he's like, do you think you have enough kind of thing?
Hmm.
Because there's like, he has a huge stack of them. But again, it's kind of one of those things of like, we don't always, we don't see every step of the scene,
Yeah.
like when they get ready
Yeah.
for bed, it's not like we watch their whole routine.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But in the
Yeah.
books, it's like lube is very heavily mentioned. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I know lube is one of the like we've like kind of got there with condoms or at least like addressing like STDs and birth control and stuff. But like lube is one of the things I know the people are like, please
that wasn't a big topic in the show.
in the show. They didn't do like a whole like sponsored lube brand. Why hasn't there been a tie?
There was one of the things in the show is the one of the characters, Shane, drinks ginger ale.
Hmm.
And so there was just some stills released for the upcoming episode, and there's like a scene where like his love interest is like, "Oh, there's ginger ale for you." Like he got it for him. And so there's a can, but there's no, it's like the backside. There's no label. And I was like, this was such a missed opportunity for Canada's rec.
Yeah.
So is that all, that's all your recs?
That's my top 10. I feel like I'm like looking at the list and I'm like, I know there is 10 because I have like the number list, but I'm
Yeah.
still like,
Did I
did
forget
I miss, do I
something?
not know how to count to 10? Um,
Yours was more organized than mine, but
yeah.
mine was just a mix of dropping lots of names and stuff.
Yeah. You know what? Fair enough.
Well, this was very fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Do you want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Oh, yes. So in terms of social media, I'm primarily on Instagram at Romancing the Data. And then I also have a website, romancingthedata.com, which is where you'll find my directories. One of the most well-known is the Romance Bookstore directory. So it's all the books, romance bookstores in the world, physical, online, and pop-up. So you can find that there. And then linked from there is also my Substack, which is essentially my blog, where I post a lot of my research findings. So you can sign up for updates there. And I have a paid subscriber tier, which gets you access to some more of the data.
Awesome. All right. That'll all
Yeah.
be linked in the description, listener. So if you too love a spreadsheet, you found
Come
your
find
kindred
me. Let's
spirit.
chat.
Yes, exactly.
And look for, I'll be doing some more analysis, like officially, about the best of the year. That's a little more organized than what I spouted about here.
Fine. This is a
Here
chaos
you get the
podcast.
colorful commentary
Yeah.
along with it.
The squealing over how much you like. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
All right.
Awesome.
Happy New Year,
Well, Happy New Year,
listeners.
everyone. I
Happy
hope
New
here's to
Year.
an amazing romance-filled 2026.
And as always, listener, you can find the podcast at We Read It One Night on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can email me, we read it one night at gmail.com. Slip into my DMs or send me an email if you have a request for a topic, an author, or a book that you want to see featured on the podcast next year. Otherwise known as tomorrow, if you're listening to this to the day it comes out. It's been a great year for romance. It's been a year full of changes for me and this podcast. And if you've stuck around with me since 2021, when we first started this, then I just want to let you know that I'm so grateful for you, and I'm so grateful that you're still here. And for all the new listeners, I'm grateful that you could join me. Yeah, don't forget to leave a rating and review if you haven't already. And make sure that while you're listening, you download the podcast episode. You can delete the download if you're trying to save, storage space as soon as you're done listening. But on an episode featuring a data analyst of romance, I would be remiss not to mention that downloads are how most podcast streamers like Apple Podcasts, like Spotify, like iHeartRadio, like Amazon Music, like all of those. That's how they track and decide which podcasts to recommend and to push to other people. Thank you for any support that you can give. And if you want to go a little bit further, you can, if you're feeling generous in the new year, you can buy me a coffee at the link in the description. And you can also support the podcast by visiting the Bookish Sapphic Etsy shop, where I sell some fun inspired prints and apparel. Godspeed, comrades, and Happy New Year.